Hi, my name's Phil. I like to talk about politics, and in this video it's the turn of the aerospace industry to express its deep concern over the current Brexit situation. A part of the UK economy that is very much a world leader is also yet another one that could be devastated if the government do not protect it from the ravages of a no-deal Brexit or even a piss-poor deal Brexit. But first, if you'd like to be notified of daily news in politics, please subscribe to the channel and click the bell notification icon. So, consider this another page in the chronicles of Brexit being a little bit crap. It's not necessary to try and convince people of this because yet again it seems that the difference between the two sides of the debate is no longer one side saying it'll be great, the leavers, and the other side saying it'll be terrible, the remainers. There are no leavers and there are no remainers anywhere because we've left. Those two terms mean nothing anymore. There are only pro and anti-Brexit supporters, and both sides now seem to agree that Brexit is going to be crap. Yet again, social media lit up yesterday with the assertion that Brexit is the fault of Remainers. Because, 2020 can make anything appear to make sense, it seems. So 2021 is going to be not so much about who was right about whether Brexit will be good or bad, but who was right about whose fault it was. But anyway, the aerospace industry today with a bit of fishing mixed in. So this is another industry that provides quite a lot of well-paid jobs in my neck of the woods and throughout the UK really. A representative of the industry was highlighting the issue of standard certification recently. They made it clear that in order to preserve the number 2 spot in the world in this area, we absolutely depend upon a comprehensive bilateral agreement with the EU. They need the parts they produce to be certified as valid in the EU. So aerospace leaders are apparently particularly annoyed that fishing is getting so much government time in negotiations and their industry is not. Now, here's the thing. Just that statement alone, you would look at it impassionately and you say, well, you will argue that every industry leader is going to inflate the importance of their particular business in Brexit negotiations. Naturally, that's what you'd expect them to do. But objectively, do they have a point? So, had to do a little bit of research here. So first of all, you compare what are these industries worth to our economy. So our fishing exports, remember exports is how we make money, don't make money by importing. So our fishing exports are worth about £2.5 billion. Aerospace exports are worth £34 billion. So yeah, aerospace is worth over 13 times as much as fishing in terms of the value of exports. So on a pure relative worth basis, it is completely counterproductive to be putting more time, effort and emphasis on fishing issues as compared to aerospace. Nothing wrong with arguing the fishing issues, but it seems silly to do so whilst ignoring aerospace. So they do have a point. And it's yet another reminder that our government are not negotiating with our economy in mind. The fact that they will ignore a very lucrative part of our economy and attach importance to much less lucrative ones just because Nigel Farage somehow managed to make it a public issue, a rallying point, speaks volumes about their vision of Brexit and what it's going to mean for us. But of course, it's not as simple as that. When you talk about the economy to most people, it just seems to be this intangible thing that journalists and politicians bang on about. Economists too, of course. But what does it actually mean to ordinary people? It means jobs, of course. Jobs. So we look at it another way. After all, it is possible for an industry to produce less in exports, but actually be as more worth to us as a country. Because if the bulk of an industry piles all of its profits into a few wealthy hands, but another industry distributes the wealth much more fairly, then perhaps the less valuable industry is actually more valuable to the country. We'll see. So jobs then. The fishing industry provides employment for 24,000 people in the UK. That includes processing, that's not just catching them. The aerospace industry provides 375,000 jobs. So yeah, fishing 24,000, aerospace 375,000. That's over 15 times as many jobs dependent. So again, putting so much effort into fishing compared to aerospace in the negotiations looks even more ridiculous now. But say the determined Brexit supporting mariner, I have one last throw of the die to make. What if the aerospace jobs are really poorly paid and the fishing industry ones distribute their wealth more fairly? Okay then. I mean, there's so many more jobs in aerospace, you're really not going to argue that one, but let's go through it anyway. So, the average wage in the UK fishing industry is £25,773 per annum. That is below the median UK wage. For the aerospace industry, it's £38,211. That is above the median wage. So let's recap then. Our aerospace industry compared to our fishing industry is worth way more in terms of exports, employs way more people, and on average pays those people way more as well. Significantly above the median UK wage as opposed to significantly below for fishing. And yet the government are not negotiating the agreement that the aerospace needs, which isn't anywhere near the political hot potato that fishing is. Should be therefore much easier to do. Absolute madness. The industry points to the fact that it has a few hazards on the horizon. It's currently heavily investing in hybrid engines as part of its moves towards carbon neutrality, to address the climate crisis. It's been hit by the COVID pandemic, like many others. But Brexit without an agreement on certification will mean that parts will not be valid in the EU from next year. Like overnight, their parts are not valid in the EU. Not everyone can afford to set up an office in the EU to get around this. Some have been able to do that. But it needs pointing out, even for those who do that, then what does that represent? That represents jobs that were in the UK being moved to EU countries. I will remind people again that talked about Brexit benefits. They failed to mention that those benefits would be for foreign nations. But I suppose benefits are benefits. But without this agreement, in theory, certification would be handled by the new UK Civil Aviation Authority. However, and I'm sure this will come as no surprise, it isn't ready. What's more, there doesn't seem to be any confidence that it will be ready for another 5 years. Of course, the government insists that it will be. But who do we believe? A government of known liars? Or the actual aerospace industry who understand their own business? And the thing is, it's not even just about whether we get a deal or not. This isn't about deal or no deal. If we get a deal, we'll be okay. It's now quite clear that if Boris Johnson does bring a deal home in time for the end of the transition period, it cannot possibly be the comprehensive deal that he originally sold to the British public during last year's general election. It will be the weakest of all deals, paper thin, and could easily include nothing for a whole host of important British industries, which could include aerospace engineering. We may get a deal that doesn't actually cover them. We now know that there will be a lot of industries facing no deal trading conditions, even if we get a deal. The only question is which ones. We can't even judge based on which ones would be the most sensible to focus on, because the government isn't basing their strategy on sensible economic judgments. If they were, this is not the Brexit we would be heading towards. But anyway, there we go. Those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. Hope you found the video interesting. If you did, don't forget to click the like button. And if you'd like to support the channel further, please also click the Patreon link for details. And until next time, I'll see you later.